I seem to have gained a new friend. Hey, you can't go in there, that's my boot. Come on. Well, good morning. And it's another lovely day in Dorset. But it's actually a tree with a bit of a gruesome past. That dancing ledge. Oh, isn't this just beautiful? Down these grooves. But just look at that. Look at this sky. That wasn't forecasted. Well, I think that might be quite a nice place for lunch. Cheers! Well, thank you Rock for your support. It was a very nice lunch spot. Looking at this amazing view. Some interesting dancing waves. Isn't this absolutely glorious? I honestly can't believe how good the weather is today compared to the forecast. Just fantastic. Well, we've got to get walking again. Got to climb out of this quarry. So we're back at the top of the quarry now, but I will just have a little detour this way. Over there is where we just come from. That takes you down to the lower ledge. This one takes you to the upper ledge. So let's have a quick look down here before we head off towards Windspit. So this is the upper level. And you can see over here, I don't know if it'll come out on the video very well, you can see all the cave entrances. It is fenced off at Seacombe. Windspit used to be open, and some of them still are, but a lot of Windspit is now being closed to the public because it's considered to be dangerous. And of course there is quarrying paraphernalia here as well. Long disused. But Seacombe, unlike Dancing Ledge, is actually a grassy upper level. Let's go along to the end. In fact, I might be able to get out down here. So this is as far as this ledge goes. Windspit is across the way. You can see some of the cave entrances over there, and more sea caves down here. Now the route actually takes us inland from here and then back out again to reach the top of these cliffs, but you can actually scramble up. I may have a look, see if I can do that. That'll save me going half a mile inland. Oh, made it. Right. Not many places you can get a scramble in Dorset. This is one of them. Oh, we're back on the coast path again. And this is another place you used to be able to have a bit of a scramble. This is a massive sinkhole. But you used to be able to get down over there and scramble down that side, that end. But they fenced it all off now. It's kind of pointless anyway, because there's nothing down there. It's just a big hole. As I say, probably a sinkhole. I'm guessing there were maybe some quarries down there that collapsed or something. I assume that's what's caused it. But I have been down there in the past. I'd say this scrambling around gets harder the older you get. Never used to be a problem for me. There's another awesome view. This is another of those nice paths that we get on the Dorset coast. Grassy, nice and even and soft underfoot. Amazing views. Fantastic blue sea, wonderful sky. It's just an absolute delight to walk along here. So this is the next quarry, and probably the final one of the day, I think. This is Windspit. Which It's quite a substantial quarry. Oh, I see climbers over there as well, halfway up the cliff face. Anyway, we'll go down there. I will actually put the drone up from here just to see if we can get a reasonable aerial view, but it's probably going to be windy to go too high. Well, as I thought, it was a bit windy up there. Seems to be, I suppose it's because I'm on the coast. Never mind, I've still got some aerial footage. So this pointy hill is Eastman, which always looks inviting, I think, with that path. Not that I'm going up there today, because I'm going down to the quarry. But you will notice that on the other side there is also a pointy hill. What do you think that one's called? Well, it's called Westman. Predictably, I suppose. The quarry's down there, which is where we're going to head. We have to go down lots of steps to get there. Right, this is Windspit, and this is the lower ledge we're heading down for, which as usual involves a scramble. And some big steps. Pretty. Well, looks like the tide's come in quite a lot since we left Seacombe. For the benefit of Windspit, it is the one quarry, I think, that you can swim in, apart from Dancing Ledge Rock Pool. I don't know if you'd want to do it at the moment, but over the far side there is a part there. Oh, in fact there's somebody swimming actually in there now, but it's protected by a kind of circle of rocks, so it's slightly more swimmer friendly. You certainly wouldn't want to swim at Dancing Ledge because the ledge goes out, but it also is cut underneath, and people have gone in to swim at Dancing Ledge and got sucked underneath the ledge and died. So it's not a place to swim other than the rock pool. I'm not sure I'd want to swim even here, over there where that person's swimming. Need to be a strong swimmer, I think, in this water. As you can see, the tide is coming quite a long way up over the ledge now. So you can see Anvil Point from here, right the far headland. You can actually see the lighthouse. I don't know if the video will pick that up. Down here there's more sledge tracks. Well, we're going to say goodbye to, well, the lower ledge at least, and we're going to head on up to the upper ledge, which is up here. So these caves are unfortunately closed because they're supposed to be now unsafe, which is a real pity, because you used to be able to go in, and they go in quite a long way, some of these caves. But yeah, I'm not going to go in there. I suppose I could send the drone in, couldn't I? But yeah, these are unsafe, but you can see they are amazing caves. This is the upper level at Windspit, or part of the upper level. This is the western part. There's quarrying paraphernalia still left, and some of the old buildings still there, also unsafe. This is a quarry that's been used in films. It's been used, Blake 7 I think. I think Doctor Who has been filmed here as well. So it's a spectacular place. I think it's a shame that it's not still open. But we might just nip across to the other side, the east side of the quarry. So we're on the western upper ledge now. So obviously didn't get very far. Late afternoon lights, amazing. So that ceiling's obviously come down at some point. Not going in that one. This is the end of the line. The ledge doesn't go any further. So that's where we were just now. That's Seacombe across there. Dancing ledge. Can't actually see. It's tucked away somewhere, but it's along from there. So that pretty amazing, I think. Wonderful place. Lots of history, lots of interest. So these quarries were worked till about 1940 at Windspit. Right, now I've got to make my way back again. Oh, we're back out into the sunshine again. Well, that is Windspit, and with the light fading, sun's going down into a bank of cloud. I think I probably need to head inland from here. So the last working quarryman lived in the cottage on my right, which you can't see because it's completely surrounded by trees. You can just see the roof from the top of the cliffs. So when the quarry ceased operation in 1940, he continued to live in that cottage and carve stone figures and that sort of thing. So he was, I think, the last coast or quarry worker, and his name, well, he became known as Billy Windspit. So the cottage in the trees on the right is known as Billy Windspit's cottage. not actually the only cottage here. There is a building up there which is inhabited, and on the left here is, which you can't see very well, but is what was part of the quarry at one time. I think it used to be offices and so on, which is also a cottage recently rebuilt. At the top you can see Worth Matravers. We're just heading up this track to reach the village, and hopefully we've got to look around the church to end the walk, if it's open. And well, we've still got enough light, hopefully. Well, that's the track to Windspit, down in the valley, East Man and West Man, both sides. And well known too for its strip lynchets. If you look at the side of West Man and East Man, got these terraces. It's a feature of this part of the coast. It's a rather lovely evening now. Just climbing up still towards Worth Matravers. So we're back in Worth Matravers. Some lovely old stone cottages here. So the good news is the scaffolding is all gone around the church. So hopefully if the door's unlocked we can get a look inside. So this is St. Nicholas of Myra Church, Worth Matravers. And it has the distinction of being the second most complete Norman church in Dorset. First place falls to the church at Studland, which is almost complete Norman, but this is not too far behind. It has been altered obviously and renovated down through the ages and so on, but predominantly it's maintained its Norman look and its Norman architecture. But it has some mysteries and controversies, one of which is here. It is said that there used to be a south chapel, like a south transept, which would have come out here, and that would have been the door from the church into the south chapel. And the square window, which is blocked up on the inside, but the square window, it was thought that it might have been a squint, so that you could look through that from the chapel and see the altar. And that is possible. Pevsner certainly thinks that, the famous historian, but there are those who disagree. But there's more inside, if we can get in, that is. And very kindly it has lights that we can switch on, otherwise it's pretty dark in here. But this is the amazing St. Nicholas Church at Worth Matravers. And look at that arch. Amazing Norman arch. And that's another of the controversies or mysteries, because Pevsner thinks that that arch was made for a different church and was brought here and re-erected at this church because it's grand for what was just a village church. There are those who disagree with that, but it is definitely and very clearly a Norman arch with these 2 rows of chevrons all around it. That's an awesome bit of architecture. And over here we have the blocked up door, which is thought to have gone to the south chapel at one time. And obviously the window, which was in here somewhere, is blocked up. Well, let's see if it comes out round here. Ah, there is, in fact. So Pevsner is right, because that is clearly a squint. So you can look through that window and see the altar. So I don't see any mystery with the window. Whether there was a south chapel or not, who knows? Buzzing in here. So this is the south doorway, and this is also carved. I've got to use my torch here because it's too dark in this porch. You can see that's a carved porch, as carved arch above the doorway as well, and again dates from Norman times. And also in the porch is this gravestone or grave covering, which was actually ploughed up in 1957, about a quarter of a mile from St Aldham's Head and from St Aldham's Chapel. Underneath it, or within it, were discovered the skeleton of a female buried in the middle of nowhere, quarter of a mile from the chapel, and also there were a square foundations and rubble. So it's thought to have been the cell or the grave of an anchoress, and that her cell was built there. and that's where she spent her life, in her cell, which is what anchoresses did, praying, and people would come and talk to them and ask them to pray with them and so on. And she would have spent her life in that cell, and obviously died and was buried there. But as I say, that's what it's thought to be, but obviously nothing's written down. So I think that's an absolutely beautiful church, and well worth taking time to have a little wander around, albeit it was a quick one because the light's fading. But there is one other thing I want to find, if I can, and that's in the churchyard. So this is what I've come to see. It's the grave of Benjamin Jesty and his wife Elizabeth. And Benjamin Jesty is famous for having, well, I'll read it, it actually says it on the sign here. Born at Westminster in this county, and was an upright, honest man, particularly noted for having been the first person known that introduced the cowpox by inoculation, and who from his great strength of mind made the experiment from the cow on his wife and 2 sons in the year 1774. So he died aged 79 in 1816, but he was the first one. I think it's Edward Jenner is actually the one who's known for inventing the cowpox inoculation. But Benjamin Jesty apparently preceded him, but basically kept it quiet. Maybe partly because he had administered it on his wife and sons. And it wasn't an inoculation, I don't think, like we know today, with a nice clean sterilised needle. I believe, I'm sure I read somewhere that he used a knitting needle or something like that. But it evidently worked, and he's known for it. He's buried here with his wife in St Nicholas Church, Worth Matravers. So that's another little bit of interest to this mysterious church. Well, I think I'd better sign the video off now, before I lose the last of the light. We're back at the beginning, just got to walk through the village back to the car where I've parked it. But what a fantastic day that's been. I'm absolutely amazed, especially at the weather. It was supposed to be cloudy, maybe with some sunny periods, but I did not expect wall-to-wall sunshine and clear, bright blue skies. That was absolutely amazing, and I've had a fantastic day. It's great that I managed to get the drone up. Not as high as I would like to have done, but never mind, we can't help a bit of wind. Yeah, it's been a fantastic walk. I love looking around the quarries and exploring. So much to see, so much history and kind of rugged coastline this is. So I have had a thoroughly good day, and I hope you have too, watching me or walking with me. So anyway, thanks so much for coming with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, I've absolutely loved it. But for now, this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying until next time. What you like?